Some people who may read this book may ask themselves, why should the church involve itself in politics? Well, the book is not about the church engaging itself in party politics, but politics, as far as I understand it, has to do with the public deliberations on how society should be governed. It is for the whole nation to engage itself in deliberating on how we should be governed. And that's why this particular book has been written. Others may then ask a question, what message have we got to give, particularly as we face the general election? Well, there are some answers here. I want to say, over the last 4.5 years, we've been facing deep economic crisis. But the problem is, often, the word economy does not give us the true understanding of what it is. Economy, from the Greek word oikonomia, which actually means a household, and oikos, a house, talks about relationships. People who are in economic relationships with one another, guarded by the principles that actually govern those people. So if we were to take British economy as a household, in a household, the proper ethical and moral principles that govern that household, and one of the greatest is, no one in a household should have too much while the majority have too little. So a proper household means that things are arranged in such a way that everybody in that household flourishes. And if one is not flourishing, you may lead to dysfunctionality of that particular household. So the economy of Britain, seen as a household, means that all of us have got to participate fully in its life, in its business, in its commerce, in its deliberations, so that all of us can flourish. And it will be quite a pity if the powerful, the richest, are the ones that thrive in our household and some are left behind. And therefore, for me, one of the greatest challenges that faces our nation has to do with income inequality. That's the biggest giant that, like one of those 5 that Beveridge actually dealt with, we have got to slay. Income inequality traps a lot of people in what I've called in this book hard-pressed working families on poverty wages. So if we, as a household, can deliberate on how we must ensure that this income inequality is addressed properly so that everybody flourishes, everybody shares the same thing, then it's quite possible we would have done something. So the title, On Rock or Sand, is supposed to help us find out what are those firm foundations on which Britain needs to be built, needs to deliberate, so that the principles that govern us as a household, everybody flourishes, everybody has their well-being.